Solitude is not loneliness, it's transformation. In a world that glorifies noise, attention, and constant connection, solitude becomes rebellion. It's the sacred space where the distractions die, the masks fall, and the real self begins to emerge. Most people fear being alone because they've built their identity through others, through validation, conversation, and constant motion. But the awakened know silence is the gateway to power. When you step into solitude, you meet the raw, unfiltered version of yourself, the one buried beneath routine, expectation, and performance. It's uncomfortable at first. The mind resists. The ego panics. But once you surrender, solitude becomes your teacher. In isolation, your energy clears, your focus sharpens, and your intuition speaks louder than the noise of the world. You stop chasing approval and start aligning with truth. The same stillness that once felt empty begins to overflow with presence, purpose, and strength. Solitude is not where you lose yourself. It's where you finally find yourself. Subscribe to Motivation Guru. Join the Guru Clan, where silence becomes strength, solitude becomes mastery, and the lone path becomes the most powerful one. 1. Solitude is the forge of self-discovery. Solitude is not an escape. It is a confrontation. It strips away every illusion you've built to survive in a world addicted to noise. When the chatter fades and the roles dissolve, what remains is the raw, unedited essence of you. The world keeps you distracted with conversations, deadlines, and digital chaos because silence is dangerous. It exposes the truth. In solitude, the mirror is merciless. You see your fears without filters, your desires without disguise, and your patterns without justification. At first, it's uncomfortable. The silence feels heavy, almost hostile. The ego searches for distractions, craving validation and noise to drown out the growing awareness within. But if you endure, if you stay long enough in that quiet, something profound begins to happen. You meet yourself. You start to realize that most of your life has been a performance shaped by what others expect, by what earns approval, by what feels safe. Solitude breaks that illusion. It forces you to question, who am I when no one is watching? What do I truly want, not what I've been told to want? The answers aren't immediate. They rise slowly, like embers in the dark. But they are pure, untainted by external influence. That is the power of solitude. It burns away everything false until only truth remains. It's a forge, not a prison. It refines you through stillness and heat, melting away the masks you wear in society until your real essence is revealed. The great philosophers, mystics, and warriors all understood this truth. They retreated not because they were weak, but because they knew that self-knowledge is the foundation of all power. The mind becomes clear only when separated from the noise of the crowd. The spirit becomes unshakable only when it no longer needs to be seen. Solitude reveals your patterns. You start noticing how often you compromise your truth to please others, how much of your energy goes into maintaining identities that were never yours. You realize how deeply conditioned you are and how free you can become. Awareness begins to replace autopilot. The same silence that once felt empty now becomes full of insight, clarity, and connection to something higher. Self-discovery is not comfortable, it's catalytic. It demands that you look at your wounds without judgment, your potential without fear. Solitude gives you the space to do this, to heal, to reflect, to rebuild. Every moment alone becomes an initiation. Every quiet breath a declaration. I am enough without noise, without validation, without the world's applause. In this forge, your identity is no longer borrowed. It's built. You start creating from authenticity, not imitation. You act from inner truth, not external pressure. You speak less but mean more. You choose fewer things but with greater intention. That's what solitude does. It makes you precise. It makes you dangerous in the best way possible, untouchable by manipulation, immune to distraction, and rooted in self-awareness. When you finally emerge from solitude, you carry a different energy. People sense it, the quiet confidence, the steady presence, the grounded strength of someone who knows themselves deeply. You don't need to speak loudly because your silence carries weight. You don't chase validation because you've already met the only approval that matters, your own. So don't run from solitude, step into it. The world may call it loneliness, but it's the most sacred form of transformation. Solitude is where you stop being a reflection of others and start becoming a revelation to yourself. It's not the absence of connection. It's the rebirth of authenticity. In solitude, you don't lose yourself. You forge yourself. 2. Solitude purifies energy and intention. Solitude is not just peace for the mind, it is cleansing for the soul. When you are constantly surrounded by others, your energy becomes entangled with theirs. Their emotions, opinions, and expectations begin to shape your vibration until you can't tell what's truly yours anymore. The spiritually awake understand this. They retreat not to isolate, but to reset. Being alone removes the energetic noise of the world. You stop absorbing fear, doubt, and distraction from those around you, and your inner frequency begins to rise again. It's like stepping out of a crowded room filled with voices into a silent forest where you can finally hear your own heartbeat. That sound, your energy, becomes familiar again. Every soul carries a unique vibration, but over time we let others distort it. We take on the moods of friends, the expectations of family, and the anxiety of society. We become energetic sponges, soaking up everything, but expressing little of our own truth. Solitude reverses this. It's an energetic detox. In the silence, you begin to feel your own presence again, unfiltered, undiluted, real. At first, it can feel disorienting. When the noise is gone, the echoes of what doesn't belong to you become obvious. Emotions that never originated within, beliefs that were never truly yours. You begin to see how much of your life has been lived through borrowed frequencies. Solitude strips that away. Slowly your energy stabilizes, your intuition strengthens, your clarity sharpens. You start noticing what aligns and what doesn't, not intellectually, but energetically. You can feel when a person's presence uplifts you or drains you. You can sense when a space feels dense or when an idea feels light. This discernment is the natural result of purification. You no longer guess what's good for you. Your energy tells you instantly. And as your vibration clears, your intentions follow. What you desire shifts from ego-driven wants to soul-aligned purpose. You stop chasing validation and start pursuing meaning. You no longer ask, "What do I want to have?" but instead, "Who do I want to become?" This is the transformation solitude brings, not just clarity of thought, but purity of intention. The world rewards motion, but solitude rewards alignment. When your energy is clean, your decisions become effortless. You stop moving from fear and start moving from truth. Every action carries power because it's born from integrity, not reaction. You begin to notice that life responds differently when your vibration is steady. People treat you differently. Opportunities align naturally, synchronicities appear. The external world reorganizes itself to match your purified internal state. But solitude doesn't just reveal your power, it also reveals your leaks. You'll notice the habits that scatter your focus, the people who cloud your peace, the thoughts that lower your frequency. Awareness becomes your greatest weapon. Every time you choose stillness over noise, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you withdraw from chaos, you refine your frequency. This is why many can't handle solitude. It exposes their energetic imbalance. They feel restless, anxious, or bored because their vibration has been dependent on external input. But for the awakened, solitude becomes sacred maintenance. It's where you tune your spirit like an instrument, refining your energy until it hums with precision. When your energy is pure, your presence becomes magnetic. You no longer need to convince or chase, you simply attract. People feel something different when they're around you: calmness, authenticity, strength. They might not understand it consciously, but energetically, they recognize it. That's the hidden power of solitude. It refines you into resonance. You become a clear channel for higher guidance, creative flow, and divine timing. Every word, every action, every silence carries meaning because it's rooted in aligned energy. The truth is simple. What you attract isn't determined by what you want. It's determined by what you vibrate. And solitude is where that vibration is purified. When you learn to be alone, you stop leaking energy and start radiating it. You become a lighthouse, steady, bright, and unbothered by the storm. 3. Solitude transforms weakness into power. Solitude isn't just quiet, it's a mirror. And what that mirror shows first isn't beauty, but dependency. It reflects all the places where your peace once depended on others, the approval that fed your confidence, the conversations that distracted your mind, the relationships that filled your emptiness. Isolation strips away the illusions and exposes what's fragile within you. It's here, in this raw confrontation, that weakness begins its alchemy into strength. Most people run from solitude because it magnifies discomfort. When there's no one left to blame, no one left to validate, you must face the truth. Your emotions, your fears, your patterns, they've always been yours. Solitude removes the external crutches that keep you from realizing how much of your stability was borrowed. The silence tests you. The loneliness provokes you. The emptiness demands that you evolve. And in that fire, transformation begins. You learn to soothe yourself without distraction. You stop depending on validation to feel worthy. You start generating your own peace instead of waiting for the world to hand it to you. The mind that once panicked in silence begins to find rhythm in it. The heart that once craved reassurance starts to trust itself. Solitude teaches emotional self-regulation, the art of being whole without needing anyone else to complete you. It's not an easy initiation. There are nights of confusion, moments of self-doubt, even waves of grief, because solitude doesn't just separate you from others, it separates you from who you used to be. But if you stay, if you breathe through the discomfort instead of running back to noise, a shift happens. You realize that the very pain you feared was sculpting you into someone stronger, calmer, and infinitely more powerful. Power, after all, isn't about control, it's about stability. The ability to remain unmoved while everything around you changes. That strength can only be built in solitude. In stillness, you confront every storm inside you, until nothing outside you can shake your foundation. This is why warriors, monks, and mystics all retreat into isolation, not to escape the world, but to master themselves before re-entering it. When you learn to thrive alone, dependence becomes impossible. You no longer seek relationships out of need, but from overflow. You don't chase opportunities to prove your worth, you create them from alignment. Your emotions stop dictating your path. Your awareness starts directing it. Solitude turns survival into self-mastery. In this process, you begin to realize how much energy was lost in chasing what was never yours to hold. You see how many of your decisions were reactions to rejection, to expectation, to fear. Solitude breaks that cycle. It teaches you to act from intention, not impulse. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it consciously. And the power you gain from that shift is quiet, but unmistakable. You become composed where others panic. You move deliberately while others rush. Your silence starts to carry more weight than their noise. The world feels your energy shift because independence is magnetic. The person who no longer needs anything becomes the one who attracts everything. What solitude really gives you is ownership. Ownership of your emotions, your peace, your destiny. When you no longer outsource these to others, you reclaim your personal power. That's what true mastery looks like. Not dominance over others, but dominion over yourself. By facing yourself alone, you discover that solitude never weakens, it refines. The one who can stand still in isolation is the one who cannot be moved by the world. Because once you find strength in solitude, you stop fearing separation and start embodying sovereignty. 4. Solitude awakens creative and spiritual clarity. True creativity and divine insight are born from silence. The mind must first empty before it can receive. In solitude, the chatter of the world fades. The opinions, the comparisons, the endless scroll of noise, and what remains is space. That space becomes sacred, because within it, something higher begins to speak. The awakened know that solitude isn't absence, it's access. When the mind quiets, inspiration rushes in like breath. Thoughts become clearer, intuition becomes louder, and creativity begins to flow with divine precision. You stop forcing ideas and start receiving them. What once felt like thinking now feels like channeling. You become a vessel for wisdom that transcends logic. The great poets, mystics, and inventors all understood this. They sought solitude not to escape society, but to hear the whisper of the unseen. The creative mind needs stillness the way a flame needs oxygen. Without it, the light suffocates. Solitude removes the world's interference, allowing the soul's signal to come through without distortion. In silence, you begin to notice subtle patterns, how everything in life connects, how timing weaves destiny, how your own thoughts ripple into reality. This awareness sharpens intuition. You start trusting nudges over logic, flow over force. you begin to realize that creativity and spirituality are not separate. They are the same current expressed through different forms. When you're alone, inspiration doesn't need to compete for your attention. You feel it in the wind, in symbols, in words that seem to write themselves. The more still you become, the clearer the guidance gets. Answers you once chased now find you effortlessly. Problems dissolve because your energy is no longer entangled in resistance. And this isn't just creativity, it's communion. Solitude connects you directly with Source. The same intelligence that spins galaxies and grows forests begins to move through you, shaping thoughts, ideas, and visions in perfect alignment. What you create from that state carries power because it's not born from ego. It's born from consciousness itself. But here's the paradox. Most people never experience this level of clarity because they fear silence. They fill every gap with distraction, music, conversation, entertainment, anything to avoid hearing their own thoughts. Yet that avoidance blocks the very guidance they're praying for. The universe whispers, not shouts. Only a quiet mind can hear it. When solitude becomes your companion, creation becomes your language. The ideas you receive aren't random, they are assignments. Each moment of stillness becomes an invitation to birth something divine into form, whether it's a project, a purpose, or a version of yourself you haven't yet met. You begin to notice that creativity isn't just artistic, it's spiritual architecture. Every inspired action shapes your external reality to match your internal alignment. Your art, your words, your work, they all begin to carry energy. They heal, uplift, and awaken others because they came from a higher place. This is why those who embrace solitude often seem illuminated. Their eyes hold clarity. Their presence feels grounded yet transcendent. They aren't lost in thought. They're anchored in knowing. Their energy feels still yet alive. That's the power of alignment with divine flow. You stop trying to create from willpower and start allowing creation to move through you. Solitude turns your mind into a temple, your heart into an antenna, and your energy into a conduit for light. When you enter that state, you realize that inspiration was never something to chase. It was something waiting for you to listen. So protect your silence like a sacred ritual. Disconnect to reconnect. Step into solitude not as escape, but as communion. In that quiet, you'll find the universe has been speaking to you all along, waiting for you to stop shouting long enough to hear it. Because when the noise dies, the divine begins to speak. 5. Solitude prepares you for true connection. Solitude isn't the absence of love, it's the training ground for it. When you've spent enough time alone, you realize that most people don't seek connection, they seek escape. They enter relationships, friendships, or communities not out of wholeness, but out of loneliness. Solitude changes that. It purifies your heart from need, so that when you finally connect, it's not to fill a void, it's to share your overflow. When you no longer fear being alone, desperation dies. You stop chasing attention, affection, and validation disguised as love. You become selective, not because you're arrogant, but because you finally know your worth. Solitude teaches you to sit with yourself long enough to see what you truly deserve, and to walk away from anything that dilutes that truth. The world teaches you that connection means constant presence, constant talking, touching, proving. But solitude reveals that real connection is energy meeting energy, not dependency meeting need. You start to recognize the difference between those who feed your spirit and those who only feed on your light. And because you're no longer afraid of losing people, you're free to love them without attachment. Solitude shifts your frequency from seeking to radiating. You stop begging for love and start becoming it. Your energy changes, calm, magnetic, grounded. You no longer enter relationships to complete yourself. You enter to expand yourself. The love you give is no longer a trade, it's truth expressed. This transformation is why solitude must come before union. It teaches you emotional independence, how to hold peace within chaos, how to nurture yourself when no one else does. You learn to be your own safe space. You stop expecting others to rescue you from your emotions, because solitude has already trained you to face them alone. And when you do meet someone, that inner stability changes everything. You no longer crave constant reassurance because you've already built it within. You don't attach through fear, you connect through freedom. You don't love out of lack, you love out of fullness. You're no longer half of a soul looking for another half. You're a complete being choosing another complete being. Even beyond romance, solitude refines your capacity for all connection, with friends, family, even humanity itself. You start valuing authenticity over appearance, depth over distraction, truth over comfort. You begin recognizing who's real by how your spirit feels around them. You can sense when someone's words are aligned with their energy and when they're not. That discernment protects you more than walls ever could. Ironically, solitude makes you more connected than ever, not through quantity, but quality. You attract people who match your frequency because your energy no longer vibrates from need, but from alignment. Those who remain in your life after solitude are not there by accident. They are mirrors of your growth, not reminders of your past. And perhaps the greatest gift of solitude is that it redefines love itself. You realize that love isn't about possession, validation, or control. It's about resonance. It's not about finding someone who completes your silence, but someone whose silence feels like home. The spiritually mature understand this. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's preparation. It's how the universe upgrades your capacity to connect without losing yourself. It's how you learn to love without attachment, give without depletion, and walk away without resentment. Because only the one who has mastered solitude can master connection. Only the one who has found peace alone can bring peace to another. You are not meant to be half of anything. You are the whole meeting another whole in divine timing. Solitude is the most misunderstood form of power. The world sees it as emptiness, but the awakened know it as fullness, a sacred space where the soul breathes, the mind clears, and truth finally speaks. In solitude, you stop being shaped by noise and start being refined by stillness. It's where illusions die, the illusion that you need constant company to feel alive, that your worth depends on being seen, that peace must be found outside yourself. When you spend time alone, you discover that every answer, every source of strength, every spark of inspiration was always within you. The silence doesn't weaken you, it awakens you. Solitude teaches you to hold your own energy with grace. It burns away dependency and builds the kind of self-trust that no external chaos can shake. It's where your identity stops being borrowed and becomes built. And once you've tasted that depth, you no longer fear being alone. You crave it, because solitude is not separation from life. It's a deeper merging with it. When you return from solitude, you move differently. Your presence carries weight. Your eyes hold calm. Your words become intentional. You stop chasing validation because you've already found the source within. So if life is pulling you into isolation, don't resist. You're not being abandoned. You're being initiated. The universe removes distractions not to punish you, but to prepare you. Embrace the silence. Let it shape you. Because solitude is where warriors are forged, masters are born, and spirits remember who they truly are. Subscribe to Motivation Guru, join the Guru clan, and walk the path of self-mastery, discipline, and awakening. In solitude you rise. In silence you lead.